Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this video where we are going to explore what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2026. But before we dive into the new features, I want to share a powerful story, a story about innovation, resilience, and how SOLIDWORKS helped transform an entire company. Let's talk about Vermeer. Vermeer started decades ago with nothing but drafting boards and 2D drawings. They built everything themselves, from raw steel all the way to fully assembled machines. But as their product became more complex, 2D just wasn't enough anymore. Parts didn't fit, assemblies failed, and the imagination was limited by paper. So Vermeer made a bold decision, and in 1999 they fully embraced this 3D design and partnered with SolidWorks. They became the first company to own more than 100 SolidWorks seats, and that decision changed everything. From that moment on, designs became faster and more accurate, communication between teams improved dramatically, and the ideas turned into real product quicker than ever. Vermeer grown from a $300 million company to a $2 billion global leader, with SolidWorks at the digital backbone of their engineering process. Even when an EF3 tornado destroyed much of their facilities in 2019, they were back in full production within just 60 days. Why? Because their entire product data and processes were digital, built already in SolidWorks. So this is what we are gonna explain what's the new features in SolidWorks 2026 on one of their products for Vermeer company. Let's have a look on what's next with us. And of course, this is all what we have for 2026, the speed and the intelligence and collaboration as usual. And Vermeer, as I said, will be one of our main topic today that we are going to explore the features on one of their machines today. As you can see, every release of SolidWorks focuses on solving real user challenges, whether it's through fixing issues, adding enhancement, or introducing completely new features and functions. In SolidWorks 2025, there were already more than 200 functions delivered, but if you look at the progress made throughout the past year, from SP0.1 all the way to the SolidWorks 2026 general release, you will see a total of over 420 improvements implemented. This is of course the way SolidWorks keep it up with the design challenges we are facing nowadays. And it shows a continuous commitment from the SolidWorks R&D team to listen to user feedback and make the software more powerful and reliable with every update. We are referring here to a monster at 22,000 pounds and capable of 28 pounds of thrust force. The Vermeer horizontal directional driller has become an industry standard over the last 50 years. These drillers are designed for laying in fiber optics lines, power, cable, and other utilities without the need to trench, making it possible to incorporate utilities lines underneath existing infrastructures like roads, bridges, sidewalks. Let's take that machine as an example. If you look closely, you will notice that most companies, regardless of their size or industry, will always need to focus on at least some of these areas, if not all of them. Starting, of course, with 3D CAD and part designing, going through assembly, design, and digital prototyping, 2D drawing and drafting, MBD and GD&T, routing for pipes, tubes, and HVAC systems, rendering and visualization for marketing purposes, import and export and how to file translate, collaboration and data sharing between stakeholders, BDM and how to control the file revisions, electricals, and mechatronic design if you are building and designing 2D layout for cabinets, and if you want to control the wire list and the cable list, of course you need to design the electrical boards as well. Structural simulation, FEA analysis, plastic simulation if you are creating molds, flow simulation if you are want to have like a heat transfer or how the movement of the flow inside you or outside your machine. This is the CFD analysis. Documentation, of course, for creating different manuals for your machines. And finally, manufacturing and creating bill of material and shop floor preparation, of course. These categories represent the core of every design and manufacturing processes because your business runs on information. Let's have a look on the SOS system itself and the SOS system brand. If you have a look on the SOS system as a brand, you will notice that the SOS system already has provided a full ecosystem of software covering every stage of the engineering cycle. It started from the very first idea or sketch, moving through design and simulation all the way to manufacturing and testing and even marketing the final product. Each brand here play a specific role in that process, from SOLIDWORKS and CATIA, of course, most of us know this, to Simolia for simulation, Innovia for data and project management, and 3D Excite for visualization and marketing. Together, they create a connected digital environment, what we call the 3D experience platform, where every part of the product life cycle is linked, allowing companies to innovate faster and smarter. Over the past year, myself working with companies of different sizes and across various industry, I have noticed one common truth: when a company is able to bring most of its solution under one unified software ecosystem, success naturally flows. Having everything connected under one umbrella not only improves efficiency, but also create a stronger foundation for innovation and growth. As I'm adding this note here, proof is in the numbers. You as a SOLIDWORKS user, you should know the numbers and the community you are at. So let's have a look on that one. And as you can see, the population now is massive. We are more than 7.5 million users for 400,000 companies to 20,000 startups in all over 110 countries, which is really massive population here. And of course, it's 800,000 certified SOLIDWORKS users around the world, with more than 400 resellers in different regions, which is really amazing. And this is let you feel that you have a big community and a lot of people to communicate with and sharing your idea and thoughts. So for today's video, this will be our data set and our roadmap for today as we walk through what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2026. And we will also look at some additional features that were released during the 2025 that could be helpful for you as well. At the beginning, let's mention some highlights. First of all, we are going to start with these highlights, as we are seeking all the time to get higher performance. The highlights I'm going to share, it's related more to enhance the performance. And we have 3 points I'm going to mention. First of them is accelerated design workflow. You have the ability now to be able to select specific component to be loaded without the need to open the full assembly. You are now able to just create like a special filter and a special display state and special component and work on that only without the need to load all the assembly component. And let's have a look on that short video. So the conclusion of the highlights, we have a selective loading, so you are able to select some component only to work on from the large assembly and create like a special properties or create a special filtering for these items, and you will be able next time to search for this maturity state or any file properties that will make it easier for you to search for the selective component you have already selected, which is great enhancement added to work on the large assemblies like that. Okay, for parts, let's have a look on the part. So for the part, we have a great enhancement as well. First, we have a base flange. So base flange now can be offset from the sketch plane, giving you a greater control. Before, we used to have a base flange only based on a sketch. Now you have ability to create an offset from the sketch plane based on a reference, and we are going to show this on live right now. We have now the ability to add break corners, internal for the internal corners and external corners as well. So this is a great enhancement. Before it was only for external corners. Now we are able to collect all corners, even the internal corners as well. Delete with equation. If you remember, if you have a sketch with equation and this sketch is connected to an equation, before, if you want to delete this sketch which is connected to equation, it's actually popping an error message telling you that the sketch is connected to an equation. So you have to go again to the equation to delete that equation or just break the links. But now you have the ability, while you are deleting a sketch, to have an option to delete with equation as well, which save you a lot of time. For the structure system, you are able now to preview multiple treatment could be applied to a point or a corner. This will be really helpful for you to identify what exactly you want to have as a treatment for that corner. Cut list property is now could be accessed from the custom properties directly without the need to retype again whatever in the cut list items, and this is actually helpful for PLM or ERP systems. Reference points, finally, you can define the reference point using X and YZ coordinations. No need to generate existing geometry. Before, we used to create a sketch to apply a reference point geometry, but for now, you are able to just enter the value numerically, and this automatically will create a reference point for you. And finally, bounding box. Before it was created automatically based on the component. Now you have the ability to choose what exactly the position of the bounding box based on one of the planes available or the navigations available or the navigation system added to the component you require. So for the bounding box, this is a great enhancement as well, and let's have a look on that one here. So for the base flange, as you can see, I have here a sheet metal part, and this is a sketch. Now, if I'm going to edit this sketch, you will be able now, when you want to create a base flange, if you create a base flange, now you have the option to choose from a surface, and this is not what was before. Before we have only base flange from the sketch only. Now you have the ability to select a face and make that reference based on that face, which is great enhancement added to 2026. For break corners, for the same part, I'm going to add a corners, and as you can see, I have now collect all corners, but I have an option to internal corner only that will grab only the internal corner. But if you uncheck this, this will automatically grab all the corners available to the base flange part you are creating, as you can see. We have a sketch with equation. This sketch is connected to an equations, as you can see. Let me edit this sketch here. And as you can see, there are some equation connected to some dimension of that sketch. When you want to delete this sketch, as you can see, you have now an option to let you choose if you want to delete equations while you are deleting the sketch as well, which is great. For the structure system, as you can see, I'm going to edit the corner treatment here, and we have assemble to member or complex. For one of the complex corner, I just want to zoom to that corner because I want to see what exactly I'm going to do. And as you can see, I have here multiple preview for the corner treatment could be applied to that complex corner. So I'm going to choose this and hit OK, and now this preview made it easier for you to create corner treatment in the structure systems. For cut list properties, before, if you have a cut list property, let me open one of the cut list properties. Let me choose the first one. As you can see, I have here description, for example, and total length already calculated in the cut list item. If you want to copy whatever existing here in the cut list directly to the file properties, you will be able to access it directly from the file properties. As you can see, I'm actually grabbing the information directly from the file properties without the need to retype it again. And of course, if you want to add the lens, you just hit space and choose the unit. This will show the lens as well for the custom property. As I said, this is helpful for the ERP system you are using. For reference point, yeah, we have now this part here and we want to create a reference point. As you can see, we are now able to define position with numeric values. So you are able to just specify the values and this will create the numeric point in space based on the values you have entered. For the bounding box, before it was calculated automatically. Now if you check the bounding box, you have different options. Custom plane, you can choose any plane, front and top and right. You can choose whatever you want to create that bounding box. And of course, you are able to choose one of the coordinate system. Let's define the length and width and thickness based on the coordinate system, and I'm hit OK. Now, if you read the bounding box details, you will be able to see the length and width and the volume of the bounding box. This is helpful to let you understand the volume that will be calculated based on that part in the component you are using. Let's look back to some of the SOLIDWORKS 2025 features that had been published already into 2025. One of them is actually edge flange, and you are now able to define an edge flange based on the bounding box and specified vertex, of course, in that bounding box. So it's a great enhancement. You have now a bin command, so you are able to bin the command if you are creating fillets for multiple edges. This will make it easier for you to apply multiple fillets while you are opening only one feature. Sketch squares, you know that we don't have an option to sketch squares in SOLIDWORKS, but we have the ability to create a rectangular shape. So if you want to create a square, now you just need to hit shift while you are creating a rectangle. This will make it square directly. The next one we have is the copy and cut list properties. You are now able to, if you have added already a cut list property, you are able now to copy this cut list property to all of the cut list properties without the need to retype it everywhere again and again. This is, of course, saves time. No need to manually copy or type this again. For the bend notches, this is a new feature added to SOLIDWORKS. You are now able to create visible marks across bend lines. This is helpful for the operator to line up the bends with tooling for fast and accurate parts. Multi-lens edge flange no longer require editing the flange profile. You have now only one feature and you have an option to select multiple edges and apply only one feature on multiple edges with different lenses, which is great enhancement as well. And let's check how to create edge flange by defining the specified vertex or up to vertex. So we are now going to create an edge flange, and we have already a bounding box, and we are going to create edge flange for all the edges. And then I will select here up to vertex. You have the ability to select a point. This is the reference for the edge flanges. Or the bin command, if you want to apply multiple fillets to a specific part, you have now the ability to bin the command. So I'm opening the fillet, I'm going to bin the command. For binning the command, this will allow you to use the fillet multiple times without the need to go again and activating the fillet features. So I'm going to add the fillet here and just right click and choose multiple edges and right click and keep doing this for fillets and chamfer. This will be working normally without any issues and make your job easier, of course. For sketching squares, as I said, you have to click shift while you are creating a rectangle, because we don't have a special tool for creating squares. You just pick the rectangle here, and I'm going to click on shift. This will automatically convert the rectangle to a square, as you see. Let's see the other feature. So the cut list item, as you see, we have here the properties of the sheet metal. If you added a cut list item property, the process, for example, water jet, as you see, you have now the ability to copy to all cut list item without the need to retype it again every time. So as you can see, I'm checking all the cut list folder. You will see that this is already copied to everything available to the cut list items. Of course, you can specify some of the item list to create different things based on your needs. For the sheet metal part, as you can see, we have now the ability to create something called bend notch, and bend notch will create like a visible marks, and this is help the operators, of course, to line up the tool perfectly without any issues. So it's a great enhancement, of course, added to SOLIDWORKS 2025. Tab and slot, see, it's really easy now to apply tab and slot, and we have different options, and you have the ability to offset or equal offset. You have multiple options added from 2025. This great enhancement will allow you to add groups, and as you can see, we have now on one feature, I'm just keep adding different options here. Let me specify the length here. Of course, an instant to skip, like the normal button, you have now the ability to control more the tab and slot. Let's flatten this part. For example, as you can see now, the tab and slot is really amazing. And for the edge flange, let me choose the first edge and choose the second edge. Will make this edge automatically 80, but you have now an option, multi-length edge flange will allow you to control the length of each one of these edges. But remember all the time to select, of course, the edge you are working on. And this is all what we have for parts. The third part with us today will be assembly, and we have some enhancement beside the performance, of course. We have some enhancement added to SOLIDWORKS 2026. Cosmetic change indicator is one of the new feature added to 2026. Now, if you made just a cosmetic change to your part, this will not request any update or reload for the assembly. So if you have an assembly and open a specific part and make some edits to that part that is related to cosmetics or graphics, this will not require when you get back to the assembly to reload again the assembly, which make it faster for you while you are doing your daily job. Table display now have more flexibility while you are creating configuration tables or disable state tables. This is more consistent and more easier for you to edit the tables you are creating in SOLIDWORKS. Fastener automation, now SOLIDWORKS has a powerful AI that is recognize fasteners like nuts and bolts and washer based on their geometry. So once these geometry recognize, made them with a simple drag and drop without the need of mate reference. As you remember, before we used to create mate reference or reference mates, and these reference mates were added to help SOLIDWORKS to identify that this part need to mated with that direction or that way. Now with the AI, powerful AI embedded already in SOLIDWORKS, it is recognized already that you have a fastener that need to be mated without the help of anything or edit anything in the part. Now you have an option to disable auto resolve. You remember that we have file reference map, and you have the ability to disable auto resolve if you are opening the part or if you are opening the assembly in a lightweight mode, or before if you want to open a specific part inside that assembly, before it was resolved automatically, but now you have an option to disable auto resolve, and this is easier for you and make the performance better, because If you are searching for a specific part inside subassembly, you don't want to resolve everything until you reach the part you are intending. You just need to keep in mind for a reference map for every time you are going to open a drawing file on your PC. SolidWorks behind the scene will go and search for any related files included in that drawing before opening it in SolidWorks, and to make sure, and this is of course done because SolidWorks need to make sure that you are using the latest version of your drawings, for example. So if your drawing contains large assemblies, SolidWorks will use the resources to load the entire assembly on the memory, containing all the bars, design tables, and any reference parts. That's why we have modes in SolidWorks. Most of the user didn't know the difference from using these modes while opening your large assembly or large drawings. And let me summarize this for you in a minute. So we have, for example, in assembly, we have resolved mode and lightweight mode and large design review mode. Resolved mode is the mode that goes to search and follow all the reference location to get you the latest version. So you are loading everything in your memory, features, planes, mates, and literally everything. So if you are opening an assembly in a resolved mode, you are forcing SolidWorks to load everything. Okay, then you have a lightweight mode. This one loads only the planes and mates. So if you want to make some edits in the mates or a reference geometry, just open your assembly in the lightweight mode, and of course it will be faster. Finally, you have a large design review, which loads just the design tree structure, which is more faster than the lightweight mode, of course. And we have different modes in drawings. One of them is a detailing. Detailing is similar to large design review in assembly. We have another version or another mode in drawing called detailing. This is the fastest mode as well. So try to use these modes while you are working on a large design, while you are working on a large assembly. This will be helpful, and this will be much faster than before. So for the cosmetic change indicator, as you can see, we have now this part here. Let me open this part, and I'm going to create some graphic and cosmetic changes to that part. As you can see, I'm creating a different geometry, and when I get back to the assembly, you have now new indicator that telling you that you did a cosmetic change and no need to edit, or no need to reload again the assembly. I'm editing, deleting, changing the sketch, but never change anything related to the feature. As you can see, I'm adding decals as well, adding logos, whatever you want, and this will not require you to reload again or rebuild the main assembly. Let's change some appearance here as well. As long as you didn't change anything, you have this indicator here to tell you that you did cosmetic change. Even if you want to save, that indicates assembly referencing files with only cosmetic change. So only cosmetic change has been made to the main assembly, which is really great enhancement added to SolidWorks Assemblies 2026. For the table display, you have now the more table are more now consistent, so you are able to edit the width of the roads, and this is really helpful. You weren't able to do that before. For the fastener automation, as you can see, we have now this washer here. I'm going to hit control and be near to that place. Automatically, the AI will recognize that you want to create a mate here. And again, there is nothing added to the part. This is just a fastener or a washer without adding any reference mate or anything. It's just a part, and automatically SolidWorks will recognize that you want to insert a mate here, insert the nut or the washer here, and make a mate for these parts directly. Disable auto resolve as well is a great enhancement. So before, as you can see, we have here lightweight mode. If you want to open a specific file, you automatically forcing SOLIDWORKS to resolve that. You have now a new option in the feature manager design tree. You have now the ability to disable auto resolve lightweight component. When you disable or uncheck this option, next time if you open a lightweight mode, as you can see, it will not be resolved automatically. As you can see, we have only in the part the mates and plane, as I said. So it's a great enhancement that makes your assembly performance better and your daily job more easier. Let's have a look on the drawings, and we have an AI as well that will help you to generate drawings, auto-generate drawings automatically for your models. And again, this is just the beginning of the AI usage here. So we are creating like different views. You need to update the views, you need to update the annotation, you need to add more details for the drawing. It's not 100% drawings, but it will at least help you to create drawings for all the parts if you want to decide to create drawings for everything. But this is again for SOLIDWORKS connected, and you have to be connected to the 3D experience platform to do that task. Now, for drawings as well, in 2026, you have magnetic lines for annotation. Before, magnetic line was only for balloons. Now you have magnetic lines for annotations. Break dimension line. Now you have the dimension break for overlapping text or values as well, which is improving drawing clarity and readability, of course, a lot. Custom text in GTOL frames. Before, we used to have only values in GTOL frames. You are able now to type any text or symbol inside the GTOL range fields. Let's have a look on this feature here. First of all, auto-generate drawings. As you can see, you have now this assembly. I'm going to choose some of these parts here and right click and create auto-generate drawings. This will automatically create drawings for these parts, and as you can see, I'm opening each one, automatically created the views and created the required table. But of course, you need to arrange the views and add more details if you want to do that. But this is just the beginning, as I said, and the AI tool is used here to create the drawings directly without the need of anything. Magnetic lines. Before, we use the magnetic lines for balloons. Now if you created a magnetic line, this will automatically grab the annotation as well, which is great enhancement added as well to the drawings, and it make it really cool to have these magnetic lines in your drawings and make your drawings more professional. Break dimension line. As you can see, we have now the ability to select multiple dimension and create break lines. As you can see, the line is break based on the values or based on the lines of other dimension, which is making great clarity for the dimensions and the drawings you are creating. If you have multiple dimension at the same location, just try to create break dimensions option. Custom text in GTOL. As I said before, you have we had the ability to create only values for GTOL frames. Now, if you want to add the tolerance, for example, you have now the ability to type any text. So I'm going to add T and A or B or whatever you want from the text. This will be allowed from 2026. Let's look back to some of the SOLIDWORKS 2025 features as well, which I thought it's really important to understand these features. And it is in drawing as well. You have an option now for reload for drawing. If you open a drawing and create some changes to your drawing, you have the option now to reload for drawings. This is a new option that will revert everything you've done to the first version or the last version saved on the disk, which is great enhancement as well. You have now the ability to create bill of material based on the display state filtering, which is great enhancement as well. So you are able now to change the display state and create bill of material for these display state only um, which I see it's a great enhancement added to SolidWorks 2025. Family table, if you have like a nuts or bolts with multiple configuration, you have now a new table could be added to your drawing, which is family table that will display all the configurations and all the sizes available for the nuts or the bolt you are using. So this is about I'm talking about. For any drawing now, you have the option to reload. This reload button will revert back to the first version of the drawing you were at. Display state bill of material filtering. Now let's see, I'm creating different filters and I'm going to create a bill of material of that display state only, which is great enhancement as well. For the family table, I have this pin here. I have different configuration. Let's create a drawing from that pin. You have now the option to create a family table that will display all the configurations available for that pin. For the new features as well, we have cut list ID. You have the ability now to connect the cut list units with the documents unit of the drawing, which is great enhancement and make the document drawing you are creating more consistent. Display expression, you have now the ability to show or hide the display expression. Before, we used to right click and edit the sheet format to be able to preview these expression. You are now it's a settings now, so you are able to just view or hide them from the drawing. Revision tables, now you are able to maintain clarity for revision tables by locking the first row. If you have multiple versions of your files, you are able now to lock the first version and then type the last version. So if you have 6 versions for your files, you are able to lock the first version and just keep the last version as well available to your drawing, which is great enhancement. Let's have a look on the cut list ID. So I have here a cut list table. I have here a table. I've already added the table here, and this cut list table has a dimension. I just need to link the dimension here with the dimension of the documents and on the same units to be on the same units. So I'm going to option document properties and then weldment. I have an option here to link to documents units. I'm gonna click OK, and you will see that for the drawing of that part, this is now will be updated to match the document unit, which is great enhancement as well. Display expression, I told you before that if you want to display these display expression, you use to right click and edit sheet format to see BRB or BRB sheet or BRB SolidWorks property name. Different expression, of course, based on what exactly the note you are linking to. So you have now the ability to preview or hide these expression based on option. So you will able now, as you can see, I have here this table. I'm able to go to view, hide and show, and then choose to annotation text expression. This will be displayed directly in the table without the need to right click and edit the sheet format. For revision table, as I said, you have here a part with multiple versions, and you have now the option to lock the first revision. This will ensure that is displayed all the time for you, that this is the first version and this is the last version. And of course, you are able to control the row count of that versions. And this is all what we have for drawing for 2026, which is great enhancement added to the drawings as well. And let's have a look on the renders. For the renders, we have different features has been added as well to 2026. First of all, DSP PR for SolidWorks. This is new appearance and new material feelings added to SolidWorks that will let you feel the material from the shadows and the reflection of the light. This is a new enhancement added to SOLIDWORKS 2026 Visualize. And now you are able to render from SOLIDWORKS directly. And we have a Stolar fast mode, and this is before it was used for NVIDIA graphic cards only. Now it is available for AMD GPUs as well, which is allowed now for everyone. So everyone are able to use the Stolar fast mode, and this mode is actually lets you reload the model and get the final visualization without the loading time. So you feel that it's rendering in real time without the need to wait until you get an image, which is great enhancement added to visualize and rendering. Let's have a look on DSPR and DSPBR, and this is actually related to the appearance, and this have been completely upgraded. The software now uses a new material called DSPPR, which is stands for Disney Physical Based Rendering. This simply means material now react to light in a more realistic way. We can see better shadows, reflections, small surface details, and textures like roughness, scratches, or bumps, and it's still as easy as drag and drop from the appearance library. The great thing is that these new material work perfectly in SOLIDWORKS Visualize. So when you export your model to Visualize, the materials will look exactly the same and no need to fix or reapply the materials again in Visualize. As I said, you are able now to create a final and high quality rendering directly from SOLIDWORKS. Just turn on, you have to turn on the Visualize add-in and select your scene and click render. One click only, no need to open any other program, and you will have the final scene like that, which is great enhancement added to SOLIDWORKS Visualize. Stolar Fast Mode. As I said, in Visualize there is a feature called the Stolar Fast Mode. It allows you to preview your render in a very high quality, almost in a real time, meaning that you don't have to wait for the image to finish rendering to see how it looks. Before, Fast Mode was only available for user with NVIDIA graphic cards. So if your computer had an AMD GPU, you couldn't use this feature before. Now in 2026, Fast Mode works on AMD graphic card as well. This means almost everyone can now use this fast real-time rendering, no delays and no restrictions. And this is what we have for the renders. Let's have a look on the user interface and the import. Now you have import model as a background process, which is great enhancement. If you have models you want to import in SOLIDWORKS, but you are currently in a session, you are able now to import these models as a background process and let SOLIDWORKS reload these models without opening them and keep them ready until you are going to open it, which is great enhancement. And of course, filters has been improved. You are able now to filter based on a feature or based on a board. Before we used to filter based on a board. So you are able to select a filter based on a component, and you will choose a top level assembly directly without choosing a specific part. If you are activating the filter based on component, you have now the ability to filter based on features. So when you click on feature, this will automatically pop up for you all the feature and preview for you all the feature available and made from that parent feature, which is great enhancement as well to speed up your process and daily process. Selecting large number of bodies, you are now able to filter based on a volume or based on a size or based on different criteria, which is allowing you to find your parts more easier and let your work done faster. Dismissed message, you remember that sometimes some messages pop up for you to tell you, for example, you need to temporarily use a new fonts. If you dismissed this message, all the time you have now a new icon that will show you that you have a dismissed message, and this will allow you to not preview, but it will show you that there is a message you have dismissed already, which is great icon. I'm gonna show you show it to you right now. Rebuild performance, of course, there is a great enhancement added to the performance of the rebuild time for SOLIDWORKS 2026 comparing to later versions. And let's have a look on the features. So background importer, as you can see, I'm currently working on a session, but you have a new tab on the task pane that will allow you to add multiple components. I'm gonna add all of these parts here, and this will be reloaded on the memory before opening them. Once you are ready to open any one of these files, you just go and open the file. This will automatically insert it, and this will make your job more faster. Selection filter, I have now the ability to select a filter component. This will automatically select the full component even if it is containing multiple parts like this sub-assembly. Same here for the filter feature, you have the ability to filter based on a feature. So I'm gonna click on the feature, this will automatically grab all the feature connected or made from the parent feature you are selecting. Select the bodies by size. You message, if you dismissed any message, you have new icon here. This new icon will show you that you have a dismissed message. If you want to get back to it again, this will be helpful to let you know that there is a message and you have already choose to dismiss this message before, and it will be displayed in that new icon. Rebuild performance has been now enhancement. So comparing this to 2025, we now you have a SOLIDWORKS 2026 30% faster, which is great enhancement added to SOLIDWORKS 2026. And this is all what we have for 2026. But let's look back on some of the feature has been published already in SOLIDWORKS 2025. First of all, command search. You have now the ability to search. If you click on S in the keyboard for the search bar, you have the ability to search for a command, which is great enhancement added to SOLIDWORKS 2025. And unplanned offline mode is now working. If you are launching SOLIDWORKS in offline mode and the connection is lost, now it's possible to open and continue working on SOLIDWORKS. As you can see, you have now a SOLIDWORKS connected, but this is now offline. You are able now to work offline even if you are using a SOLIDWORKS connected and you need to connect to SOLIDWORKS. You have now the ability to work offline for 4 days. And this unplanned offline mode is actually available not for only opening the software, even if you were in the middle of a session. So you are working on a feature and applying some features to a part, and suddenly you lost the internet connection. You have now to stay the productivity. Even if you lost the connection, you have now the ability to save whatever you have done locally until you back online again. Tree display, now you have the ability to manage the preferred tree display based on the option, and you have different option to control the tree display. Let's have a look on unplanned offline mode. So you are working in the middle of the session and suddenly you lost the connection. So let's have a look on that. Lost the internet connection now. And you are able to work locally for now until you get back to online. For tree display, as you can see, we have now too many names in the tree display for that part, so you are able to control what exactly you want to see in the tree display based on the primary or secondary or tertiary. You have the ability to choose what exactly you want to display from the configurations or display state or the name of the feature itself. You have the ability to override the document tree based on your requirements. This is all what we have for SOLIDWORKS 2026 and 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have all the idea I tried to explain for you. If you have any question, let me know and keep a comment for your question. I'm gonna respond back for every comment. See you later and have a nice day. Bye bye.